Good evening, my dear friends, and welcome. If you've found yourself here tonight, it may be because sleep has kept its distance, your thoughts swirl like restless tides, or your mind refuses to quiet. Whatever has brought you, you are in the right place. This journey is for you, for the dreamer who longs to travel far, yet remains safe beneath the comfort of blankets. For the soul seeking calm after long days, when worry or sadness lingers in the corners of the heart. For the weary traveler of life itself who craves only a gentle passage into peace and rest. Tonight I invite you to wander with me through a land of radiant colors, ancient echoes, and timeless wonder. A place where every stone, every melody, and every horizon tells a story. We journey together across Mexico, a country whose spirit lingers long after the traveler has departed. A place of warmth and mystery, of history and song. And tonight, it will guide you softly into dreams. Its stones still whisper the stories of the Maya, who once watched the heavens from its peak. I wandered through jungles so alive they seemed to breathe, and along shores where the Caribbean turned each wave into liquid turquoise. Mexico is a tapestry of wonders, where ruins rise from the jungle's green embrace, where the rhythm of the sea merges with the pulse of the earth, where history and myth are one. And tonight, you will not just hear of it, you will journey there in your mind. Together, we'll drift through temples and pyramids, golden sands and vibrant jungles, into the heart of a culture whose spirit has endured for centuries. So now, close your eyes, let the weight of the day fall away, and allow my voice to carry you into rest, into peace, into discovery. And if you wish to join me for more journeys such as this, I warmly invite you to subscribe to the channel so you never miss the adventures yet to come. Our voyage through Mexico begins now, and before long, my friend, you will drift into dreams, carried gently beneath the warmth of its skies, scattered with infinite stars. We begin our journey in the Yucatán Peninsula, a land where time itself slows and every moment feels eternal. The air is warm, velvety, and light all at once, filled with the fragrance of sunlit stone, fertile earth, and blossoms hidden deep in the foliage. Each breath carries a faint taste of salt, born from the distant Caribbean and delivered by invisible hands of wandering wind. Above, the heavens spread as an endless expanse of blue, so clear and vast they seem untouched by centuries of passing time. Our path winds beneath a dense canopy, where sunlight pierces through in shifting golden columns that dance softly upon the forest floor. The leaves glisten broad and waxy, jeweled with the memory of recent rain that still lingers upon their shining surfaces. Around us, vines drape heavily from branch to branch, their roots flowing downward like waterfalls paused in slow motion. And then the sound, the endless chorus of the jungle. Cicadas sing in rhythmic waves, a toucan cries brightly from afar, and somewhere, hidden, a lizard slips through fallen leaves. But the Yucatan holds more than jungle beauty. It holds secrets, ancient ones. Beneath our feet, hidden in the porous limestone, flows a vast network of underground rivers. Over thousands of years, the ground has collapsed in places to reveal the cenotes, freshwater sinkholes that shimmer like blue jewels in the green. The Maya believed these cenotes were sacred portals to the underworld, places where the living could commune with gods and ancestors. Some were used for offerings, given in exchange for rain or favor. It is along this same land, shaped by stone and spirit, that our journey now leads us to one of the most extraordinary cities of the ancient world, Chichén Itzá. As the jungle begins to thin, the shift is almost imperceptible at first. The ground beneath our feet becomes firmer, packed smooth by centuries of passage. The air feels wider here, open, as if it remembers the footsteps of countless pilgrims. And then, the trees part entirely. Before us rises El Castillo, the temple of Kukulkan. Its presence is immediate, magnetic. The pyramid stands nearly 30 meters high, its limestone steps catching the sunlight so that they seem to glow with a pale golden light. There are 4 staircases, each rising steeply toward the summit, flanked by balustrades carved with the sinuous form of the feathered serpent god. The screen shall now fade to darkness. Just follow my voice and let yourself float into serenity. The Maya were more than builders. They were astronomers, mathematicians, philosophers. El Castillo is a testament to their genius. Its design is, quite literally, a calendar in stone. Each of its 4 sides has 91 steps. Multiply by 4 and you have 364. Add the platform at the top, and you have 365, the number of days in the solar year. But the true marvel reveals itself twice each year during the spring and autumn equinoxes. As the sun sets, the pyramid's northwest corner casts a series of triangular shadows against the balustrade, creating the illusion of a serpent slithering downward, Kukulkan returning to the earth. Thousands once gathered to witness this moment, as sacred as it was spectacular. Chichén Itzá was not simply a city, it was the beating heart of a civilization. Established around the 5th century, it became a major center for politics, religion, and trade. Its people spoke Yucatec Maya, wove brilliant textiles, carved intricate stonework, and studied the heavens with a precision that still astonishes modern scientists. Here, life was an intricate balance between the practical and the divine. Our feet carry us across the great plaza, the space around El Castillo vast and sunlit. To one side rises the Temple of the Warriors, its wide stairway guarded by rows of carved stone columns. Each column is etched with the likeness of warriors, some in elaborate headdresses, others clutching spears and shields. The temple's platform once held a Chak Mul statue, a reclining stone figure with a bowl resting upon its stomach, a vessel for offerings to the gods. Beyond the temple, the columns stretch outward into what was once a covered hall, the Temple of 1,000 Columns. Walking among them is like moving through a stone forest. Each pillar is different, yet together they tell the story of a society deeply bound by ritual and order. And then there is the Great Ball Court, the largest known in Mesoamerica, measuring 168 meters in length and 70 in width. Its towering walls seem to lean inward ever so slightly, as if listening to the echoes of games long past. The rules of the Maya ball game, Pak to Pak, remain partly mysterious, but we know it was far more than sport. Teams would strike a heavy rubber ball with their hips, aiming to pass it through a stone hoop set high upon the wall. It was a contest of strength, endurance, and perhaps even fate. Some scholars believe the game symbolized the eternal struggle between light and darkness, life and death. And for certain matches, often of ritual significance, The stakes could be life itself. We wander further toward the sacred cenote, about a 5-minute walk from the main plaza. The path is shaded and cool, lined with low shrubs and the occasional burst of tropical flowers. The cenote itself is a wide, circular pool, its water a deep green blue, its sheer limestone walls draped in vines. Standing at the edge, one feels an undeniable stillness, as if time holds its breath here. Archaeological dives have recovered offerings of gold, copper bells, obsidian blades, and intricately carved jade. Human remains, too, have been found, their presence a solemn reminder of the depth of Maya devotion. Yet Chichén Itzá is not a place of sorrow. It is a place of endurance. Through centuries of drought, war, and eventual abandonment, its stones have stood beneath the same sun, the same stars. Even as the jungle crept inward, even as moss softened the sharp lines of its carvings, the city waited for the day when voices would once again fill its plazas. Imagine for a moment a day here in the city's height, the morning sun spilling across the plaza, priests in white robes tending to altars, merchants arranging bright feathers, cacao beans, and obsidian tools upon woven mats in the marketplace. The deep, steady rhythm of a drum carrying across the air. Now, as we stand in the quiet of the present, you might feel that life has not entirely left. The Maya saw no true separation between past, present, and future. Time was a circle, always returning. And here in Chichén Itzá, that circle feels intact. As the afternoon light softens, the shadows grow longer. El Castillo, bathed in gold, seems almost to glow from within. In this moment, it is easy to understand why people once traveled from far across the Yucatán and beyond to witness the marvels of this city. They came for trade, for worship, for community, and perhaps for the same reason we are here tonight, to feel connected to something larger than themselves. Slowly, we turn back toward the edge of the plaza. The jungle awaits, its green canopy ready to swallow the path once more. As we walk, cicadas begin their evening chorus, louder now, filling the spaces between our thoughts. A warm breeze stirs the air, carrying the faint scent of earth after rain. Tonight, Chichén Itzá will sleep beneath the stars, the same stars its builders studied, charted, and honored, and perhaps in dreams we too will walk its plazas again, our footsteps joining those of countless others across the turning wheel of time. In the Yucatán, the rivers do not flow upon the surface, they hide, winding silently beneath the limestone crust of the land, as if guarding themselves from the sun. From time to time, the ceiling above these rivers collapses, revealing a pool of water open to the sky. These are the cenotes, nature's wells, each one a shimmering gateway to the deep earth. The word cenotes comes from the Maya word zonot, meaning sacred well. And indeed, they were sacred. For the Maya, a cenote was more than a source of water. It was a portal to Xibalba, the underworld. Not a place of punishment, as some cultures imagine, but a realm of spirits, ancestors, and gods. Some cenotes were places of daily life where villagers drew water and bathed. Others, like the sacred cenote at Chichén Itzá, were set apart for ceremony. Archaeologists have found offerings resting in the silt at their bottoms, jade beads, carved shells, gold ornaments, obsidian knives. And alongside these treasures, human remains. In times of drought, the Maya would offer the most precious gift they had, life itself, returned to the gods in hopes of rain. But the cenotes are not places of fear. Standing at the edge of one, you feel something different, a hush, as though the air itself is listening. Imagine now that we approach one such cenote hidden deep in the jungle. The path is narrow and shaded, lined with ferns and vines that brush softly against your arms. The ground underfoot is cool, scattered with fallen leaves. A faint sound reaches us first, the slow, steady drip of water echoing from somewhere below. The opening appears suddenly, a perfect circle in the earth, rimmed with hanging vines. We stand at its edge, looking down into a pool so clear that you can see the faint ripple of fish far beneath the surface. The walls drop steeply, carved by time into smooth, pale limestone. Sunlight filters through the canopy above, painting shifting patterns on the water's surface. A wooden staircase descends along one side, each step weathered but sturdy. As we make our way down, the air grows cooler. The smell here is different, a mix of fresh water, damp stone, and the faint green scent of moss. The jungle sounds above begin to fade, replaced by the quiet resonance of the cenote itself. At the base, we stand upon a small platform just above the water. Its surface is so clear that it feels almost like glass. The light penetrates deep, revealing the shapes of rocks, the pale glimmer of submerged roots, and here and there, a darting shadow of a fish. To swim in a cenote is to surrender to a different kind of silence. You lower yourself slowly into the water, and immediately its coolness closes around you, a refreshing contrast to the warm air above. It is not cold in a way that bites, but in a way that soothes, as if the water is drawing heat, tension, and noise out of you. The first few strokes send gentle ripples outward, and your body feels lighter, suspended. The water is almost weightless, soft yet holding you effortlessly. Beneath the surface, the world changes. The sound of your breathing becomes louder in your ears. Your eyes open to a dreamscape of pale stone walls, green threads of plants swaying slowly, and silvery fish that turn as one and vanish into the blue. For the Maya, the cenotes were the veins of the earth, connections to the gods above and below. It is easy to understand why. Floating here, your mind drifts. Time loses its edges. You are aware only of the gentle pull of the water, the filtered light from above, and the ancient quiet that seems to seep into your bones. There are thousands of cenotes across the Yucatán, some open to the sky like this one, others hidden in caverns where stalactites hang like frozen waterfalls. In those enclosed cenotes, the water glows with an otherworldly blue, lit only by shafts of light that pierce through small openings in the rock. The echoes there are soft but endless. A single drop of water striking the surface sounds like a whisper that carries on forever. Scientists tell us that these cenotes were formed millions of years ago when a massive asteroid struck the Earth, the same impact that ended the age of the dinosaurs. The Yucatán limestone fractured, and over eons, water carved out this hidden network. In this way, each cenote is both a geological wonder and a witness to the deepest history of the planet. But here, in the stillness, you do not think of asteroids or epochs. You simply float, the water cradling you. Your eyes trace the vines that hang from the rim above, some dipping into the surface like green ribbons. Sunlight shifts with the passing clouds, turning the water from sapphire to jade to deep, mysterious blue. When you swim toward the far wall, you notice how the limestone seems to glow underwater, its pale surface reflecting the light in soft halos. Small fish, yellow, silver, and black-striped, circle curiously, always just beyond the reach of your fingers. Somewhere in the distance, the faint echo of another swimmer's movement reaches you, then fades. I think of the countless generations who have stood where we stand now, who have lowered themselves into this same water, farmers seeking blessing for their crops, priests bringing offerings for rain, children splashing and laughing in the heat of summer, travelers like us, pausing to feel the weight of the world lift for a while. Eventually, we swim back toward the platform. As you climb the steps, the warmth of the air greets your skin once more, and droplets of water trace cool paths down your arms and legs. Above, the jungle's voice returns, the rustle of leaves, the call of a bird, the steady hum of life that never truly stops here. We stand for a moment at the edge, looking back at the cenote. From above, it seems even more like a mirror, a perfect circle of water reflecting the sky and the leaves. In a way, perhaps that is what the cenotes have always been, mirrors for the soul, reflecting not only the world above, but something deep and timeless within ourselves. As we leave, the jungle closes behind us, as if the cenote has already slipped back into its hidden life. Yet the memory of its cool embrace lingers, a reminder that in this land, water is not only life, it is history, myth, and peace. Ah, the Caribbean coast. Even now, as I close my eyes, I can hear it. The slow, rhythmic breathing of the sea. Each wave unfurling onto the pale sand is like the exhale of some great, gentle creature, endlessly patient, endlessly soothing. My friends, if you are still awake, allow me to take your mind far from your room, your worries, your day, and carry you to the jewel-like eastern edge of Mexico, where the land dips into the turquoise embrace of the Caribbean. This stretch of paradise belongs to the state of Quintana Roo, though to travelers it is often known simply as the Riviera Maya. It is a place where the sun seems to have a secret agreement with the water, pouring its golden light into the waves until they glow with impossible shades of blue and green. Here, mornings are born with the hush of a pink horizon, and evenings dissolve into a warm, coral-tinted dusk. When I first stepped onto these shores, my feet sank into sand so soft it felt as though the earth itself was trying to cradle me. The beaches here, Tulum, Playa del Carmen, Akumal, are ribbons of pale silk laid between the jungle and the sea. Coconut palms lean lazily toward the water, their fronds whispering secrets to the ocean breeze. But this coast is not simply beautiful, it is alive with history, a living chapter of the Maya story. Long before the hotels, the cruise ships, or the beach bars, the Maya people looked out over these same waters. For them, the sea was a lifeline and a spiritual boundary, a shimmering expanse leading to the sacred island of Cozumel, believed to be the home of Ixchel, goddess of the moon, fertility, and the tides. Women would make pilgrimages across the waters to offer gifts to her, seeking blessings for safe births and healthy children. And inland from these shores you will find the ruins of Tulum, a walled city that once stood guard over the coast. The Maya built it high on a cliff so that even now, centuries later, its gray limestone temples gaze down over the endless blue with quiet dignity. I remember walking its pathways in the early morning before the sun grew strong, feeling the stones warm beneath my hands. To stand there, where ancient merchants once traded turquoise and jade, is to realize that the beauty of the Caribbean has always been more than skin deep. It has been a stage for centuries of life, ritual, and story. The coast itself changes its character as you travel along it. In some places, the water is calm, like glass, as if the sea has paused to admire its own reflection. In others, the waves roll in with a playful energy, sending up sprays of foam that catch the light like falling jewels. Snorkeling just a few meters from shore, one enters an entirely new world. Beneath the surface lies the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, the second largest coral reef on Earth. It stretches like a living ribbon from the Yucatán down into Honduras, its gardens of coral home to parrotfish, angelfish, sea turtles, and graceful rays. There is a particular magic in floating there, weightless, while shafts of sunlight flicker down into the water like golden threads. Time feels different in the reef. There is no hurry, no demand, only the gentle pull of the tide and the slow ballet of marine life drifting through their crystalline home. And yet, as peaceful as the Caribbean seems, it is also a place of deep power. Storms can rise here suddenly, sweeping across the horizon with towering clouds and flashes of white lightning. The Maya, keen observers of the natural world, built their calendars, temples, and daily lives in rhythm with the moods of the sea and sky. They understood that the same waters which brought trade and abundance could also bring challenge. But between the tempests, the coast breathes an almost eternal serenity. Nights here are particularly mesmerizing. The stars spill over the horizon in such profusion that it feels as though the sky is leaning closer to the earth. On calm evenings, the sea reflects them, millions of tiny fires above and below, making you feel as though you are floating in the middle of the cosmos. One of my most cherished memories of the Caribbean coast was in the little town of Akumal. I awoke before dawn, drawn by some instinct to the shoreline. The sand was cool underfoot, the air holding the last hint of night's coolness. As the first light touched the water, I saw movement, a dark shape gliding in the shallows. A sea turtle, ancient and unhurried, making her way back to deeper waters after nesting. She did not mind my presence, she simply swam past, the morning light gleaming on her shell. In that moment I felt a sense of peace so complete, it seemed to erase all boundaries, between myself and the earth, between past and present. The Caribbean coast of Mexico is a gift of contrasts, soft yet strong, ancient yet forever new. It is where the jungle meets the sea, where coral meets sky, where human history meets the ageless rhythm of the tides. The air here is rich with the scent of salt and greenery, and the soundscape is never still. The hush of waves, the sigh of wind through palm leaves, the occasional cry of a seabird wheeling overhead. For those seeking rest, this coast offers a rare kind of healing. To walk along its length barefoot in the sand is to feel the static and noise of daily life dissolve with each step. To float in its waters is to be cradled, rocked gently like a child. And to stand upon its ancient cliffs watching the endless horizon is to be reminded that the world is wide, mysterious, and achingly beautiful, and that you are a part of it. So, my friends, let your mind linger here a little longer. Hear the quiet roar of the Caribbean. Feel the sunlight on your skin, the fine grains of sand between your toes. Let the salt breeze carry away your heaviness. In this place, you are safe, you are free, and you are at peace. And as we leave the Caribbean coast for now, know that its waves will always be waiting for your return, just as they have for thousands of years. Ah, my dear listener, if the Yucatán Peninsula is the beating heart of southeastern Mexico, then its Caribbean coast is surely the region's shimmering soul. Here, the land seems to lean toward the sea in a tender embrace, offering its shores to the warm turquoise waters that have whispered to travelers for centuries. I first arrived here after my wanderings among the ruins of Chichén Itzá and the cool, mysterious depths of the sacred cenotes. It was as if the peninsula itself had guided me eastward, saying, "Now, rest your feet in the sand. The sea will take over the story from here." The Caribbean coast is a ribbon of white sand and emerald jungle, bordered on one side by ancient limestone and palms, and on the other by waters so clear they seem unreal, as though a dream had spilled itself into the waking world. Even in the stillness of early morning, the sea hums with life. A soft wind lifts the scent of salt and hibiscus. The horizon, a thin line of silver blue, blurs into the pale blush of dawn. It is not just beauty that the coast offers. This stretch of Mexico, known as the Riviera Maya, has been a crossroads for cultures, merchants, and explorers for over 1,000 years. The Maya, whose stone cities still rise in the inland jungles, also left their mark along this shore. They were skilled navigators using canoes carved from the ceiba tree to sail and trade along these waters, carrying jade, obsidian, cacao, and salt. The coastal city of Tulum, with its fortress-like walls and watchtower facing the sea, still stands as a sentinel to this maritime past. I remember visiting Tulum on an afternoon when the sky was a tapestry of rolling clouds, each passing shadow painting the turquoise waters below in shifting shades of green and blue. The ruins perch high on a cliff, the limestone bleached and pitted by centuries of salt and sun. As I wandered among them, I imagined the Maya merchants arriving from distant ports, their canoes heavy with trade goods, guided by the steady rhythm of the waves. The Caribbean coast is a place where the sea is not merely a backdrop, but an active, breathing character in the land's story. It has moods, soft and lulling one day, spirited and untamed the next. On calm mornings, the water is so transparent you can see fish weaving like ribbons beneath the surface, their scales flashing silver in the sunlight. On windier days, the surf breaks in white lace upon the shore, each wave unfurling with a low, steady hush, like a lullaby for the earth itself. Then there are the beaches, powder white, as fine as sifted flour beneath your feet. They stretch endlessly, curving in gentle arcs, each one with its own personality. Some are lively with music and the laughter of travelers. Others are quiet, broken only by the cry of gulls and the sound of waves lapping at the shore. At sunrise, the sand is cool and smooth, patterned with the delicate footprints of crabs who have been busy in the night. But the treasures of this coast are not only on the surface. Beneath the water lies one of the world's greatest natural wonders, the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef. This immense coral system, second only in size to Australia's Great Barrier Reef, runs along the coast for hundreds of kilometers. I slipped into its waters one still morning wearing a simple mask and snorkel, and was instantly surrounded by a realm that felt half real, half dream. Coral in shapes both delicate and monumental, gardens of waving sea fans, schools of angelfish and parrotfish gliding past as though I were invisible. The sunlight, refracted by the waves, danced in liquid mosaics across the reef. The Maya once believed that the sea was a doorway to other realms, a place where the gods themselves could be reached. And standing waist-deep in those luminous waters, it is not difficult to understand why. There is a certain magic here, one that softens the edges of thought and quiets the restless mind. The air is rich with warmth and salt, the sand cradles you as you walk, and the sound of the sea seems to slow the pulse itself. Further south along the coast lies the Chichén Itzá Biosphere Reserve, a vast protected region of wetlands, mangroves, lagoons, and untouched shoreline. Its name means origin of the sky in the Maya language, and it feels exactly like that, a place where the earth opens itself to the heavens. I took a small boat through its maze of channels where herons stood motionless in the shallows and dolphins curved gracefully alongside us. In the quiet moments, the air vibrated with the call of unseen birds and the distant rumble of waves breaking on an outer reef. And then, of course, there is the light. On the Caribbean coast, light behaves differently. It is brighter but somehow softer, wrapping everything, the palms, the sand, the ruins, in a golden glow that deepens as evening falls. At sunset, the sky explodes into streaks of tangerine, rose, and violet, reflected in the calm shallows until it seems you are walking through a living painting. I recall one such evening sitting on the beach with the sand cooling beneath me, the tides slowly creeping closer. The day's last warmth clung to the air, and I listened to the sea breathing in and out, like the steady heartbeat of the world. The stars began to appear, at first one by one, and then all at once. The same constellations that guided the Maya sailors 1,000 years ago, now guiding my own gaze. The Caribbean coast of Mexico is a place that lingers with you. It is not merely scenery to admire, but a landscape that seeps into your thoughts and reshapes your sense of time. Here, the hours are not measured by clocks, but by the arc of the sun and the changing hues of the water. Morning brings the promise of calm seas and fresh breezes. Afternoon holds the warmth and the hypnotic lull of the waves. Night belongs to the moonlight, silvering the water and drawing a path across its surface. If you are listening now, perhaps to ease a restless mind or to drift gently into sleep, let this coast become the place where your thoughts can rest. Imagine yourself walking slowly along the shoreline, the water curling around your ankles. Feel the sand, warm and soft, shifting beneath your steps. Hear the call of distant seabirds and the endless murmur of the tide. In this place, the burdens you have carried can be set down. The sea accepts them without question, just as it has accepted the countless tides before. You are simply here, among the waves, the sand, and the sky, part of a story that has been unfolding for centuries and will continue long after the last footprints are washed away. Tulum. Even now, as I sit here recalling my time upon its sun-kissed shores, I can still hear the eternal hush of the Caribbean waves rolling in against the pale, powdery sand. There is something almost dreamlike about this place, a fusion of history and paradise, where the remnants of an ancient civilization gaze forever out to sea. It is here, on the edge of Mexico's Yucatán Peninsula, that the Maya built one of their last great cities, a walled citadel perched upon cliffs that meet the turquoise embrace of the ocean. The first time I approached Tulum, it felt less like arriving at a tourist site and more like crossing a threshold into a painting. The sky a crystalline blue, the water below shifting between shades of jade and sapphire, the stone walls weathered yet proud against the horizon. The air itself carried a sweetness, salt from the ocean mingling with the warm perfume of tropical blooms. Tulum was a sentinel of the coast, a port city of the post-classic Maya, believed to have thrived between the 13th and 15th centuries. Unlike the inland marvel of Chichén Itzá, Tulum stood as a maritime hub, trading in jade, obsidian, textiles, and cacao, welcoming canoes from distant shores. The walls, still visible today, were both a symbol of strength and a necessity in times of shifting alliances and incoming threats. Their limestone blocks, stacked and sealed with care, protected not just the people within, but the precious goods and sacred rituals of this coastal jewel. As I wandered through its gates, I was struck by the compact yet intricate layout. To my left, the Temple of the Frescoes, a two-story structure whose faded murals still whisper the Maya cosmology. Gods of rain and fertility, underworld creatures, celestial symbols, though the colors have dimmed with centuries of sun and salt air. You can still feel the artistry, the devotion, the belief in worlds layered beyond our own. And there, at the very heart of the site, rises El Castillo, the castle, a sturdy, pyramid-like structure set dramatically on the cliff's edge. I stood before it, gazing up, imagining the watchmen who once climbed its steps to scan the endless horizon for approaching canoes or distant storms. Below the cliffs, the sea crashes with a steady, rhythmic power, the same music it has played for hundreds of years. One can almost picture a Maya navigator, guided by the stars and the scent of the shore, steering his canoe toward that familiar silhouette. Walking the paths of Tulum, the sound of the ocean is never far. It becomes part of your heartbeat, blending with the rustle of palm fronds and the occasional cry of a seabird gliding overhead. Every so often the breeze would shift, carrying with it the faint tang of seaweed drying on the shore. It's the sort of detail that anchors a memory that will return to you unexpectedly years later when you least expect it. Beyond its defensive walls, Tulum was also a place of ceremony. Archaeologists believe its temples were dedicated to the descending god, a unique figure in Maya iconography shown diving headfirst toward the earth. Some say he represented the setting sun, others a god of fertility or the bee deity, linking the Mayas' agriculture to their spirituality. The mystery of his exact identity only adds to the allure. One afternoon, I found myself alone on the beach below the cliffs. The water here is so impossibly clear that you can see every ripple of the sandy floor beneath your toes. Swimming in this spot beneath the shadow of El Castillo, I felt as though time had folded in on itself. The waves that rocked me were the same that had once carried traders, pilgrims, and fishermen to these shores. The sun above, brilliant and merciless, was the same that shone on the builders of these walls. The warm water seemed to cradle me, urging me to let go of the present and drift into something older, deeper. And yet, for all its ancient majesty, Tulum is also a living place. Modern life hums nearby, cafes tucked under palm canopies, bicycles leaning lazily against whitewashed walls, music drifting from beachside bars as twilight falls. But even here, the ruins stand untouched, a reminder that history is never truly gone. It simply weaves itself into the rhythm of today. At sunset, I returned to the cliff's edge. The sea had softened into liquid gold, the sky painted in strokes of coral and lavender. I could feel the day exhale, a long, slow sigh that made even the air seem drowsy. The shadows of the temples stretched long over the grass as if reaching out toward the sea one last time before night. The Maya, ever attuned to cycles, saw places like Tulum not just as fortresses or trading posts, but as points of connection between sea and land, between sky and earth, between the divine and the human. Standing there, I understood. There is something here that binds you to the elements, that reminds you you're part of something vast and unending. When night finally draped itself over Tulum, I imagined the city as it once was, torchlight flickering along the walls, the smell of salt and smoke mingling in the air, the murmur of voices speaking in a language shaped by centuries of tradition. Somewhere beyond the darkness, waves continued to strike the cliffs, the eternal heartbeat of this coastal guardian. And so, Tulum remains, a place where history leans close to whisper in your ear, where the past feels not so much gone as simply waiting patiently for you to arrive. A place where you can stand on the edge of the known world and feel the infinite stretching out before you. Ah, Chiapas, to speak its name is to invoke the scent of damp earth, the murmur of distant rivers, and the quiet hum of life deep within the jungle. This southernmost state of Mexico is a tapestry of verdant forests, cascading waterfalls, and ancient ruins tucked away beneath thick canopies. It is a place where the Maya civilization left traces of their brilliance, yet nature has reclaimed much of it, creating a seamless blend of history and wilderness that invites both wonder and rest. I first arrived in Chiapas after days along the Riviera Maya, eager to see a side of Mexico that felt more secret, more intimate. The journey inland was a slow unraveling of the familiar Caribbean blues into the deep greens and earthy browns of tropical jungle. The air grew thick with moisture, carrying the mingled fragrances of orchids, coffee blossoms, and rich, fertile soil. Even before reaching the first ruins, I felt a quiet anticipation, as if the forest itself knew I had come to witness its hidden stories. One of the first sites I visited was the ancient city of Palenque. Unlike Tulum or Chichén Itzá, Palenque lies hidden within dense jungle, its stone structures rising like islands from a sea of green. The city thrived in the 7th century, reaching its peak under the rule of King Pakal the Great, whose tomb would later be discovered within the Temple of the Inscriptions. Walking among the temples, palaces, and plazas, I felt the pulse of a civilization that had mastered both architecture and astronomy. The Maya here carved their stories into stone, recording lineage, victories, and celestial events with meticulous care. Even now, centuries later, the inscriptions and bas-reliefs speak with clarity, offering glimpses into the lives, beliefs, and dreams of those who walked these paths long before me. The jungle itself is a constant companion to these ruins. Vines hang like green curtains over stone walls, and the trees seem to lean protectively over ancient plazas. The soundscape is alive. The distant call of howler monkeys, the chirp of insects, the flutter of exotic birds overhead. Even the sunlight behaves differently here, filtering through dense leaves and creating a shifting mosaic of light and shadow that dances across the stone. It is a rhythm that encourages quiet observation, a gentle slowing of the mind. Further along, I found myself on a path leading to Agua Azul, a series of cascading waterfalls that tumble into pools so blue they seem almost unreal. The water crashes over limestone terraces, forming terraces and rivulets that sparkle in the sunlight. Walking barefoot along the smooth rocks, listening to the symphony of rushing water, I felt a deep sense of calm settle over me. The Maya considered water a sacred gift, a bridge between the earthly and divine. And here, surrounded by the jungle's embrace, it is easy to understand why. Each pool, each waterfall feels like a sanctuary, a place to pause and simply breathe. The jungle is also dotted with less famous ruins, smaller sites that have been partially reclaimed by nature. Sites like Bonampak, with its vivid murals depicting ceremonial life and the complexity of Maya society, offer glimpses into daily life as well as ritual practice. The colors, though faded by centuries, retain an astonishing vibrancy, telling stories of dance, feasting, and devotion. I spent hours tracing the murals with my eyes, imagining the artists at work, mixing pigments from minerals and plants, each stroke an offering to gods, ancestors, and the people who would come after. Hiking through Chiapas, one cannot help but feel both small and expansive at once. The trees soar overhead, their roots twisting around rocks and fallen temples, yet the air is rich with life, and every step reveals something new, a hidden cenote, a bird's nest tucked among the branches, or a jaguar's track in the soft earth. The Maya, who navigated these forests long before roads or modern maps existed, moved with incredible skill, reading the land, following watercourses, and understanding the subtle signs of nature. Walking here, I felt connected to that ancient wisdom, sensing that the jungle holds knowledge not found in books, but in the quiet observation of life itself. At night, Chiapas takes on a wholly different character. The sounds of the jungle intensify, yet they are not frightening. They are rhythmic and hypnotic, lulling the mind into attentive calm. Crickets trill, frogs call across hidden streams, and the leaves rustle gently as the wind passes through. Lying in a hammock near the edge of the forest, I could feel the presence of centuries, the whispers of Maya priests, the footsteps of travelers, and the constant enduring heartbeat of the jungle itself. There is a magic in Chiapas that comes not from any single landmark, but from the layers of experience it offers. One can spend the morning exploring ruins, the afternoon wandering along waterfalls, and the evening simply listening to the forest breathe, Here, history and nature intertwine so completely that it is impossible to separate one from the other. Every temple, every stone carving, every ripple in a pool of water is part of the same narrative. A story of resilience, devotion, and the quiet majesty of life continuing endlessly in balance with the natural world. As I left Chiapas, I felt both exhausted and invigorated, a paradox that only a place like this can create. My mind was full of images of stone temples framed by dense foliage, waterfalls glimmering in hidden glades, and the ceaseless rhythm of the jungle. And yet I felt a profound peace, a sense of having touched something timeless and larger than myself. For anyone listening now, perhaps seeking rest, calm, or simply an escape into beauty, imagine yourself wandering these paths. Feel the warmth of the sun filtering through leaves, hear the waterfalls in the distance, and sense the presence of history in the very air. Let the rhythm of the jungle, ancient and unbroken, guide your breathing, slow your thoughts, and carry you gently towards sleep. Chiapas is a reminder that Mexico is not only a land of beaches and ruins, but a place of deep, hidden wonders, sacred spaces where the earth speaks softly, where the past and present coexist in harmony, and where the spirit can finally rest. As the stars appear above the forest canopy and the night settles over the mountains and rivers, you can let go, knowing that you have traveled not just across the land, but through time itself, cradled by the eternal heart of the jungle. As our journey through Mexico draws to a close, I invite you to take one last deep breath and let your mind drift over the landscapes we have explored together. From the lush Yucatán jungles to the sparkling Caribbean coast, from the ancient walls of Tulum to the vibrant Riviera Maya, from the tranquil island of Cozumel to the hidden ruins and waterfalls of Chiapas, Mexico has shared with us its heart, its history, and its unending wonder. Think back, if you will, to the Yucatán, where sacred cenotes mirrored the sky above and whispered secrets of the Maya. We swam in those crystal pools, feeling the cool water embrace us, a gentle reminder of the sacred connection between humanity and the natural world. Each cenote, deep and timeless, offered a sanctuary, a space to let go of the day, to breathe, and to float in peace. Then there was the Caribbean coast, where the waves moved like liquid jewels across the sand, and the breeze carried the soft perfume of salt and tropical flowers. We wandered along the beaches and reefs, watching sunlight dance across the water, and discovered the magic of coral gardens beneath the surface, alive with color and rhythm. It was a place to slow down, to let the world soften, and to let the sea cradle us in its gentle rhythm. Tulum welcomed us next, perched on its cliffs, gazing forever toward the horizon. We walked among temples and plazas, feeling the presence of the Maya who once called this city home. The Temple of the Frescoes and El Castillo stood as timeless sentinels, their stones warm with centuries of sunlight and wind. And beneath them, the sea whispered its eternal song, a lullaby for both ancient and modern hearts. The Riviera Maya stretched before us like a ribbon of paradise, blending beaches, jungles, and towns alive with color and culture. We explored its waters, its cenotes, and its forests, and allowed the rhythm of the land to guide our steps and our breath. Playa del Carmen, Akumal, and Siancaan reminded us that nature and humanity can coexist. each enhancing the beauty of the other, each encouraging a slower, more mindful pace. Cozumel, the island of swallows, taught us the joy of floating in warm Caribbean waters, of drifting above coral gardens teeming with life, and of feeling the connection to the Maya pilgrims who once walked here in reverence of Ixchel. In Cozumel, the island itself became a teacher, showing that presence, patience, and quiet observation are as vital as any adventure. Finally, Chiapas revealed the depths of the jungle where waterfalls like Agua Azul and hidden ruins such as Palenque and Bonampak spoke of civilizations intertwined with the earth itself. The forest pulsed with life, monkeys, birds, insects, and the subtle whisper of ancient stones. Here, in the heart of the jungle, we felt the enduring heartbeat of Mexico, a reminder that history is not lost but lives on in every leaf, every river, every stone. Now, as the sun sets across this vast and wondrous land, I invite you to rest. Let the images of sparkling waters, swaying palms, ancient temples, and verdant forests drift through your mind like gentle waves. Let the rhythm of the sea, the hush of the jungle, and the echo of history carry you into a deep, restorative sleep. Mexico, in all its colors, textures, and stories, has shared with us more than landscapes and ruins. It has shared a sense of wonder, a connection to time, and the quiet joy of being fully present. Feel it now. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, the coolness of cenote waters around your fingertips, the soft whisper of leaves in the jungle breeze. Allow your body to relax, your thoughts to slow, and your mind to float freely. You have traveled across centuries and seas, yet you remain here, safe and at peace. Carry the calm and the beauty of Mexico with you into the night. Let it guide your breathing, your heartbeat, and the gentle drift of your dreams. And as you fall asleep, remember, this journey is yours to return to whenever you wish. Close your eyes, and Mexico will be waiting. The waves, the ruins, the jungle, the sun, and the eternal heartbeat of a land both ancient and alive. Sleep well, my friends, and let the wonders of this country cradle you through the night.